What's up, y'all?
What's up? Hi.
All right, let's get it. Let's go.
right.
What's up, Trav? What's up, Chico?
What's up?
What's
man?
going down?
Can we say Chico? Can we say Chico?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What's up?
yeah.
What's up, kinfolk?
Are you still using all your
What's up, friends?
alias? Okay. Sucker free.
Sucker.
Dave.
Is it sucker free?
Is it Travis? Or are you using your other name?
Travis.
Is it your government name today, or is
It's
it
my government name.
Okay,
today.
Travis.
Oh, for sure.
Travis Leon.
For sure.
Leon?
What?
I didn't say the last
Wow.
name. I didn't
Is
say the last
is that
name.
really your middle name?
Very few people know my middle name. Thanks for that.
Hey, that's what it's all about, kinfolk.
That's funny. People think my last name is Dave. That's cool.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, they think my last name is Free.
That's
No one knows my last name.
Shucka free.
So I think it was my turn to bring drinks.
It was, man.
So I got something special that I brought.
What'd you bring, player?
I didn't just bring a drink, but I brought along a little story with it. This one.
Oh, story time.
All right. So what I brought today
Yeah.
is just two ingredients. You got Gatorade.
Is it sugar free?
Nope.
Caffeine free?
Nope.
Okay. We're screwed.
There's caffeine in Gatorade. So all you need is two ingredients. I got Gatorades,
Oh, 3 Gatorades. Okay.
and
Glacier freeze.
vodka.
Oh.
Now, I was first introduced to this drink in the
Tito's.
car business.
Tito's vodka.
You can do any vodka, but I like
Okay.
Tito's vodka.
That's my favorite, by the way.
Hey,
So
let me start with the first one. Shout out to Tito's.
Tito's vodka. You know what? I didn't know what all the hype was until I started drinking it consistently.
Exactly.
And then it made sense.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's so
smooth. You don't have to pour a lot. You can pour a little bit and still get
It tastes
really
yeah,
nice.
it tastes the same.
But these
time.
two are a special type of drink,
Okay.
and this is why.
Okay.
So when I was selling cars, we used to do what we call bell to bells. Basically, you
9 to 9.
No. From 8 to close.
Like
and
midnight
close
or-
wasn't even always midnight all the time.
Because
Sometimes close was
someone could
1
come at
o'clock.
11:30
What
and
does
it's
that mean?
a sit.
Bell to bell to bell.
Bell to bell. Okay, so the first bell is when you start, the last bell is when you leave. So I would do more than 12-hour shifts sometimes.
I still don't know what that means.
I'm telling you. So
It's going to take a second.
It'll take a second. So it's not like a literal description because it can change. So, open to close is open to close on a regular business,
That's
right?
bell to bell?
That's bell to bell. But in a car business, bell to bell isn't necessarily just open to close. It's open till the last person leaves.
Until you close the
You feel
last
me?
deal. If they're past
Exactly.
12 o'clock, you got to stay and close it.
Exactly. And it would get really bad on holiday weekends because people came at 10 o'clock at
Right.
night. They're waiting for finance 2 hours. Next thing
Right.
you know, you're going home at 2 in the morning.
Right.
So anyways, long story short, my homie introduced me to what he called a Faderade.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. And I was like, what the hell is a Faderade? He's always got this Gatorade bottle with him. I was like, this is a hydrated motherfucker.
What car dealership does he work for?
Raceway 4.
Okay.
Fuck that. I got a big education at Raceway 4.
I like that.
So did I. And it was never to buy a car from them again.
Exactly, right? They're not so bad now. But anyways, the reason why this is so perfect is because A, vodka doesn't like stay on your breath. Not
Okay.
everyone's going to know you're drinking. With the Gatorade, you can kind of pour a lot. You can pour a little bit. You can make it a little sipper. You can make it something you could down real quick.
Okay.
Gatorade's refreshing as hell. And it's something you can pop in the freezer so that way as it unthaws throughout the day, you got a nice little sipper all throughout the day.
Wow.
Understood.
Yeah, and the reason why it was so important because some of these customers would test your nerve. You feel me? And I would know that I had to sell, but I would be like, okay, it's either I'm going, go off on them or I'm going to like muscle it out.
Yep.
And get to sell. So
Right.
a lot of times I would choose to do the Faderade, deal with the annoying customer, get to sell, and be a little lit. So
Gotcha.
make it through the day.
Relaxed.
So you
Relax.
can pour as much as you want in it, but the way I always start is I drink a little bit.
That's why you're asking for a sink.
Exactly,
I gotcha.
exactly.
So what I'm going to do is take a little sip,
You got ice?
make a little room. That's what you're doing. You
Oh,
make
they're
a little
cold. I put them in the freezer.
Okay.
I was trying to get a little frost
Oh, that's
going
not
on.
cold. That's not cold at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cold over
Did you
here.
take
in
it out this
in the
morning?
IE, though.
I know, right? No, it's not frozen. But I drink like 1/4, 1/3, and then I just fill that sucker up.
Oh, yeah. Dang. Okay, so that's a Faderade. That's what's up.
That's a Faderade.
I like that. That's a bold move for
Yeah,
someone.
man. Now, if you go into amusement parks, anywhere you're going to be out for a minute, church, whatever.
Fill a water bottle with vodka vodka?
No, you get the Gatorade, put some vodka in it, shake it up really good.
Keep the Gatorade bottle. You're saying.
Exactly.
I got you.
The colder the Gatorade is, the more it masks the smell of it. For some reason.
I like that.
Yeah, man. So you pour in however much you want.
Yeah, you
I'll get
shake
my
that.
electrolytes in real quick.
good looking out. I've been on this no sugar thing, dude. So like, this is the first sugar I'm gonna drink in a minute.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
You know what?
Great.
They had the one that was no sugar too.
No,
and
it's
I was
cool.
like, I ain't grabbing no
That's
no
all
sugar
good.
drink.
I mean, it's just one of those things. I just
exactly.
Now, is this your favorite type of Gatorade, or is this your favorite type of Gatorade with Tito's?
you know what?
Frost is always my go-to, no matter what. Tito's, vodka, tequila, whatever. Straight
this
up
is good.
drinking it. Frost is always my go-to.
This
I
is
don't
actually
like
good.
that. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
I could. So that was about like a quarter.
There you go. And it's not too heavy. And if you need a little bit more, just dump a bunch more.
Look at that.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay, I
Killed
see
half
what
of
you're
it.
doing. I see what you're doing.
She goes sucker free, killed half of that.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, now you got to fill it to the top.
Well, yeah, that's
okay.
ain't no rookie.
Oh no. Hey, nobody's rookie here. I like that.
It's sucker free.
Okay. Yeah.
Not shucka free.
And there you go.
I like
That's a
that.
Faderade.
Good looking out, Trav.
No doubt.
That's a good one. And you brought my favorite vodka.
Cheers
today.
to
There you go.
Cheers.
It's just
Faderade.
it's the simpleness that keeps me coming back to this, you know?
And you know what? This is a good type of drink
Good.
to pregame with. You know,
Yeah. No, you saw how much I poured in there.
Yeah.
It don't taste like alcohol at all.
I think mine's gonna taste
Yeah.
like alcohol because I think
you
I did
about
the
to
most.
pass out.
You went kind of wild there.
Here you go.
Rough day at the office,
oh, there you
maybe,
go.
you know?
Tell me about it.
Dang, that's crazy. Those guys, they used to do that over there at Raceway Ford.
All the time.
I hate
All the time.
Raceway Ford.
Yeah, it was my first dealership. I learned a lot. It really introduced me to the whole thought that like there's a hustle behind every hustle.
But you were in that business for a long time.
Long time, 10+ years.
Man, Christian, weren't you in the business for no
For a minute.
car sales? No.
Oh,
it was just Trav.
hell no.
No. I
On
tried
purpose.
to get him. I tried to get him to join.
Every sales, but never car
Who
sales.
else was in sales in car sales?
Curtis
Curtis.
did it for a little bit.
Curtis did it
He
for a
worked
while.
at BMW
That's right.
before I went over there.
That's where you got your car, no?
He sold my ex mom a car. Yeah.
A BMW?
Yeah.
Oh,
A
okay.
little X3 or something.
I just spoke with that guy today. I was trying to hook up with him and have some lunch, but he had bigger and better plans.
Hey, Curtis, if you're close to where we are, let's hit up Ancho's again.
That's what he suggested today.
Okay.
But his sisters
I've
were in
never been
town
on
and they brought him lunch. Curtis will hook up again.
My homies
haven't
used to
seen
work
him in
at
a long
Ancho's back in the day in high school.
Really?
Yeah,
You know, for
I
me,
heard the food is good.
it is good. I mean, it's a very white. It's very white people Mexican food.
Oh, so just salt and pepper.
Nah, probably just pepper.
Just pepper.
Yeah. No
Bring
seasoning.
your own salt.
No seasoning.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, man.
This drink's got a little bite, dude.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
like
good.
it. And it sneaks up on you, but not in a bad way. Because the problem with alcohol is you're dehydrating yourself. But check it out. You hydrate.
Hydrate.
Is
Why
that true?
dehydrate?
Come on, is that true?
No, 100%.
It's just
That's where you get
it's
a
just
hangover from.
justification so we can feel better
I
about
don't know.
drinking.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think it might be a myth, but
This is
I'll let
snake
you.
oil.
Is it what?
It's snake oil. I'll let you roll with this one. It's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Faderade. Shout out to Faderade.
I used to tell people all the time, 90% of what I say is true, 10% is lie. It's up to you to figure out what's what.
Jesus.
You feel me?
I'll split it in the middle.
Or
There you
ask
go.
me no questions. I tell no lies.
There you go.
Yeah,
I like
or
that.
be like me and just don't talk.
Oh, okay. You can't lose with that.
Or say,
Can't lose with
or say, huh?
No one hears you quicker than someone that says, huh? It's like, really? You didn't hear me, huh? Okay.
Hey, Trav,
What up?
and Sucker Free. Let me ask you something. Let's rock and roll with this because
Okay.
you got a little drink,
Okay.
which was very good. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
We still got the Kobe jersey up, by the way.
I see that.
Kobe.
I say we leave that up all throughout February.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a
It's up to the
Black
owner. It's on
History
loan right
type
now.
Oh, yeah. If the owner allows.
And I sold my other one. Remember I told
Word?
you? Yeah.
Hey, this Kobe jersey's on sale. This is definitely Faderade.
The Kobe jersey.
The jersey's on sale for.
Oh, man.
Let me see.
$888.
280.
Isn't it signed?
Yeah.
I can sign it. Yeah.
You can sign it.
I can sign it.
Yeah, I didn't say by who. It was
Let's
signed.
320. Let's make it $320.
Or best offer.
Or
Our best offer.
OBO.
Okay.
No
I
reserves.
like that.
So you were asking.
Oh yeah. So I was thinking, man, this whole week, yeah, I was like, hey, man, like I'm really doing a lot of things right now, like really diverse things. It's not too diverse, but it's diverse enough where, you know, I have to wrap my head around a lot of things. I get a lot of inspirations from, you know, a few people, a handful of people. And I was like, hey, man, listen, I'm really digging what's going on. But I was like, hey, what is Travis? You know, how did he come up? Or let me back up. What inspired you, like, as, I don't want to say a kid, but like growing up?
Right.
Who's some of your
Like, who was an inspiration?
yeah,
to
who
me?
were your inspirations? Like,
Good
whether it be
question.
athletes or, you know, movies or, you know,
Right.
somebody in the movies or
Right.
something like that, because I have a few that are back then and now too.
For me, it wasn't a lot of athletes that inspired me because I didn't really inspire to be an athlete. You feel me? Like, I felt like there was enough athletes in my family, cousins, uncles, shit like that.
Because you
So-
don't play sports.
Nah, I played a little football, but it was never something I could really 100% get into. Mostly because I didn't have like that what do you call it? That support.
Yeah, you were talking about that on the last or
So it's like,
last episode.
you know, the homies are like, oh yeah, my uncle's gonna take
So
me and my aunt. Yeah, it
You,
was
would,
just me
you
and
wouldn't
my
make the
mom.
All-Star team.
I probably could have.
Oh, really?
Oh, for sure.
With the support.
With the support. Yeah, you got to get to the fucking game.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, when you walk into school, like, I sound mad old
Yeah,
now that I'm about
yeah.
to say it, but when you're walking to school, you got to walk like 14 blocks.
yeah.
In Long Beach, you know,
Yeah.
you got many parallel street choices, but still, it's like, you know, there's no easy way to get there.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to be that kid that was like, you know.
So you growing up in Long Beach, is this like, how old were you then?
In Long Beach, we moved there when I was 2. Moved away a couple times to go to VA, but mostly like my entire elementary, middle school, high school.
Very impressionable years.
Very impressionable.
Yeah.
So what was inspiring to me was music. So
We were just talking about this right now too.
yeah, exactly. So what was inspiring to me was music, and probably the most inspiring artist that I listened to was probably Jay-Z, because I felt like every time he dropped an album, it was so on par to what I was going through in my life that, like, it started a little gangster, you know, like the Reasonable Doubt, some of the low-key joints he had where he was a feature, or, you know, the Ja Rule thing come out. That was like when I was most active.
Yeah.
And then as I settled down a little bit more, you know, he started to drop albums that were like mad different, like talking about things that I felt like, okay, this is the next thing in my life I should be thinking about. And here goes an album about what I'm thinking about, you know, settling down.
Something more, a little more intellectual.
Mature, you know,
there you
as
go.
I was maturing, I was like, okay. So he inspired me for so long and matched my life path for such a long time that that's probably the most inspirational person.
How about now? What about to this day?
Not so much today. Today it's more people don't inspire me, and that sounds cocky. That sounds
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But like knowledge inspires me. Probably.
Well, there has to be a knowledgeable person for you to admire, right?
Yeah. So the
Maybe a
one
book you
person-
read or something by
That's
a certain
exactly
author.
what it
Okay,
is.
okay,
That's
okay.
exactly what it is. Probably the Robert Greene books is probably
Robert
the
Greene.
most inspiring things that I like. 48 Laws of Power, Art of Seduction, Mastery.
What's his style of writing though?
His
What is
style
that?
isn't even like a story. It's the way he's not writing, he's teaching. You dig? And what really attracts me to his style of teaching is I'm not one of those students where it's like, okay, here's your problems, here's your book. This is why that answer is that. If you teach me, you got to show me why this is why that answer is that. And that's how his books are.
Like show your work type of
Exactly,
deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. So he'll say, never outshine the master. And then he'll do a historic situation that you can read about in history, like, you know, King Arthur or something like this, and what he did to fuck up and end up dead.
So he will actually show
you why you don't do this, and it's heavy because he not only shows you something in history that is the reason why he came up with this law, but he also will give you a fable or you know, like a saying or something to go along with it, so that way it solidifies in your head. So I've read that book, 48 Laws of Power. Period. I've read it like 20 times.
Oh, bro.
You know what I mean? Or if I'm in a situation where I feel like I need some guidance, I'll literally flip through the chapters, find which one matches it the most, and then I'll reread that chapter. And the one that he just came out with is probably the most incredible one. Was I think it's I forget the name of it now. It's basically about human personalities and understanding human personalities.
That's kind of really like the things that you're explaining. Like, this is kind of the person that you are. Like if you talk to Travis or anyone talks to Travis, meets you, like, hey, you know, this is what they're gonna get.
Right. Oh yeah,
and this is you. Yeah. This is the real you. And
I live by it.
That's cool because, you know, like, not that I don't want to say that you're different, but you take a different angle, different perspective than just a norm. Kind of like my brother and I actually, like, it's a little different. We take the different angle, different perspective,
route, different lane.
And that's cool, man. I really, really like that. But I'm gonna have to check out that book because
you have to.
There's always
life changing.
Okay, well, okay. There's only one book that's been life changing for me, but
what's that?
The Bible.
Oh,
but that's just me because I can always go back to that, and it sets me straight. And,
you know, I'm ashamed to say I've only read 2 parts of the Bible, the beginning and the end.
Like, you know, Genesis and Revelation, or like the Old Testament and New Testament?
I want to say it's the Old Testament because I can almost quote the first beginning of it.
So if you read the first part and the last part, then that's the whole book.
Exactly. I want to know how it ended.
Or unless you're talking about,
but like the beginning, like we always say, the beginning.
In the beginning, it was heaven and earth. God said, "Let there be light." You know what I mean?
Did you just skip to the end because you just wanted to know the end? Like, oh, let me see, and then
no. So when I got in trouble, it went through, like, when I was younger, it was the old school way for a long time. You know, like, what you do? Okay, well, here, let me whoop your ass. But then he tried to do something different, and he would put us in like a corner, in a chair, and he would give us the Bible to read.
Oh, okay.
You feel me? My dad.
Oh, okay, got you.
That's cool.
And then I would never get past like the first, like.
Was that like a punishment or a teaching?
That was a punishment. See, and that's where I think it, like.
Because for us, it's a teaching tool.
Exactly.
Like,
so he used it, I think, in the wrong way.
Yeah.
For me, I just thought there was a lot of interesting stories in there, and even today, like I don't read it as much as I should, but what I'd go further is I find out all the backstories to all the stories, and I find out about the human side of it, and all the how, you know, the personalities of this and this and this, or, you know, whosoever, David and Solomon, these guys, and Moses, these guys. But so that's kind of cool for me. So that's how I get to stay on it. But
the stories in there are dope. There's a lot of good parables, stories. Genesis and Revelation are 2 great books.
And what fascinates me nowadays is when they talk about, like, you know, like the Nephilim, and you know, back in the day when, you know, they were descended upon one of the mounts from heaven and stuff like that. There's this, it goes super deep, and they started crossbreeding with humans. And
what?
Yeah, man.
This is in the Bible?
This is in the Bible. What? Yeah, Genesis 6. It's crazy. Yeah, this is the stuff I stay on.
You know what's crazy? I've read.
Hook me up there.
I know, before it's gone.
We're pouring some more drink here.
Well, not all of it, but like 5 of the Emerald Tablets before I even read the Bible.
What's the Emerald Tablets?
I don't even want to get into that one. It's basically a scripture or book that's even older than the Bible.
Okay.
So they say. You know, I don't really know. Like, I got to do more research to really be putting stuff out there like that.
No, that's all good.
But basically, it's
an
like
old book. It's an ancient book.
Yeah, but I summarized it before. It's a universal knowledge type book. You feel me? So it's different.
But I want to talk to you about that one day.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I want to lay some stuff down.
Yeah.
That one day? Oh, you want to talk to him about it one day?
Yeah,
I got you.
about all this crossbreeding and stuff like that. And it's like people think it's aliens.
You're like
and
the
stuff.
third person in the last month that's brought this up, or I've seen it. That's strange, man.
But it's all good.
It's an interesting topic.
It's like an 11-11 situation.
It is. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we could touch on it.
Let's do that for sure. That's coming.
Good looks, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for sharing. I need to read that book. But and then Sucka Free, what's up with you, man? Like,
as far as like,
what was your inspiration growing up?
Man,
let's start when you were growing up, because I grew up with you. Well, I seen you grow up. I was a little older than you, but I was a little younger than you. But
man, inspiration. Like, we grew up in the church, right? Like, I don't know if anyone or a lot of people know, closer people know that we grew up in the church. Like, I'm talking about in the church. How like, if you ever seen Kings of Comedy, how Steve Harvey was always like, we're in the church Monday night for auxiliary, Tuesday night men's meeting, Wednesday night whatever. We were. It's like a women's group, right?
Women's auxiliary.
Women's auxiliary.
Women's auxiliary.
Thursday night, everyone. Friday,
we got food.
Whatever.
Dang.
Like, we grew up in the church every day, and we literally grew up in the church.
We living
in the church.
Oh,
and if we didn't live in the church, we live across the street from the church. So I'm talking about like
up until what age?
Till we moved out here. Before we moved out here.
Dang.
We used to live in Paramount, and like, it was just like right there.
So church was literally home.
Well,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's when our dad was sleeping like on a table with like just a cover over him, no padding, because he didn't want to wake us up when he had to go to work at 3 a.m. when he was holding down 3 jobs. So shout out to my dad for holding down 3 jobs.
Yes.
Shout outs are coming.
First shout out.
No.
So
I'm gonna cut it out.
The inspirations first for me as a kid were like Bible characters.
Oh yeah.
Because let me see, like 4 years old, 5 years old, I started getting in. Like 5 years old, I started like getting into knowing who's on TV, like who my athletes are for our home teams, like the Dodgers or more Dodgers than Angels, because I didn't know Angels until we were a little bit older. Until Dad took us to the stadium. But Bible characters like David and Goliath. That was an awesome story, right? I would, my inspiration. I want to be like David. I want to be a king. I want to compete against the biggest guy and take him down.
Yeah, that's inspiring.
And that's like, it is inspiring for sure. And like with that story being told to me as a kid and multiple times throughout my childhood, like I want to be like David all the time. So I think that's where being competitive comes into play, because you can defeat the biggest dude.
Right. With enough willpower.
And,
for sure.
and people are on the side like, oh, that guy's big. You're not going to beat him. Watch me. Watch me. Like, even in just being, like I said, competitive, it starts there. But my inspirations go to athletes next.
Yeah. Right. When
Michael Jordan. Exactly.
Okay.
Michael Jordan. I remember like 1991-ish when we finally got cable. We moved from Paramount to Downey, and we got cable.
What?
And we got WGN.
And TBS.
Right? So this is like the Atlanta Braves. I think they did a 3-peat or something like that for the World Series. And then the Bulls were champions at that time. Like we had all the champions on TV, accessible to us watching it.
So
WGN, I was, who's this Jordan guy? Like, man, what? Like, I've heard of him.
We lucked out because that channel was just there.
Yeah, Cubs.
It was only like the only midday sports, because they were Eastern time. So we caught it like at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, like after school.
We were still home alone.
So from Bible characters, and there's a few other Bible characters that inspired, but it turned to athletes, like I said, Jordan, even like the Atlanta Braves when they're on a winning streak, Terry Pendleton, David Justice, and then Angels and Dodgers came involved. Just baseball players, football players, Deion Sanders. Like I want to be those type of guys. Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson. Like that was my guy. Yeah. That was like the era. Like before
those
Kobe.
are all black guys.
Well, they're athletes,
No,
athletes.
But
they got apps
in
too.
every sport, baseball, basketball, football, and that's all we really knew. We didn't know soccer or anything like that. But those are my inspirational athletes, I guess.
Okay.
if anyone had to be, it'd be Jordan.
No, that explains a lot because that's like your whole, steez from
exactly
the moment I met you.
And then when I started making money because I had a job, I bought like every Jordan.
Yeah.
I wore them, I sold them, I kept one, whatever.
You still have some.
I still have some for sure. And those were, he just made himself a brand.
Yeah.
So I guess if it's not David, it's Jordan.
If it's one thing, if it's one person, you could pick Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if after Jordan, like I said on the last episode, it was Kobe. Like I wore number 8 because I was in hopes of this guy becoming the new Jordan.
True.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Athletes. Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco, McGuire, the A's.
Yeah.
My dad took us up to Oakland.
So athletes were your inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this little dude was badass in sports. Dude.
Yeah,
He was, for real. Like he used to play. He used to play with us. Like when we were. Well, I mean, he's older than me, but no. But he used to play with the big kids, man, and like he used to want to get and and compete.
Because I seen these guys compete. Maybe I wanted to be that David versus the older guys. And my cousins, I used to slide on concrete.
Yeah, it's true.
Model my game after
Hardcore.
Jackson, Bo Jackson, Ricky Henderson. I wanted to be fast. I wanted to have a power swing. I wanted to throw the ball hard. I have an arm. I had an arm.
This boy used to rip his shoes.
What?
Yeah, and rip his knees on concrete. Oh. Yeah, and mom was like, "Hey, what'd you do?"
I got a story.
We're just playing. We're just playing.
I got a story real quick.
Yeah.
When I first met Christian, I didn't think much. He was skinny. This was like 99, 2000, right?
Something like 99-ish. Yeah.
He was mad skinny.
Yeah.
And from where I came from, I literally just came from a city where
everybody was fat.
Blacks and Hispanic. Everyone's what?
Everybody was fat.
No, he's talking like when I look at my son Jacob and Christian.
Yeah.
They're like 145.
Yeah, he was skinny, bro.
In ninth grade, when I met him, I was probably like 135. Because at my senior year, I remember I was 160.
He was swimming in medium shirts. I remember that.
Yeah.
So we were all kind of small. I was always kind of like a tall dude, but I was never like built out.
I've always been skinny, like weird.
But I just came from a city where Spanish and black people in large groups, we didn't really get along. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
in large groups.
That was just you know what I mean? Like if you're in high school, you sat over here.
Oh, I see. Not like in the city, you'd be like
not in some prison shit. But just kind of like not a lot of blacks and Hispanic people, hung out like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the ones that did connect were the posers, the ones that had the Jordans, but they came from a nice home. They had mommy and daddy there. So they would be Jordan
Malibu's
fans.
Most Wanted.
Exactly. They would
Like a modern day West Side Story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they were always sus because it was like, yo, are you really a fan? You just trying to be cool. So when I came here to Riverside, I met Christian.
Yeah.
And I didn't know his whole style. Yeah, I didn't know you were a Jordan fan. I didn't know you played football. I didn't know anything. I was just like, he's cool. He's quiet. He's respectful. He's nothing like the the Hispanics that I grew up with in Long Beach.
Sorry, I didn't talk like this.
You had no Ben Davis. You had none of that.
Sorry, we can't talk right now. We gotta eat the beans.
We gotta eat pizza.
Eat pizza. Hey, give me a tortilla. Gracias.
Chill hot dog and tortilla. No, but what tripped me out?
Wow, really tried.
So sorry.
Hey, I didn't even know that was a thing until my neighbor.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
So every time he would tell me something, in the back of my head was like, please don't let this guy be a poser. You know what I mean? Like real talk.
I feel you.
And each time I would just give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, you know what? New place, new vibe.
Be open.
Give the benefit of the doubt. There's no reason for me to label him like that.
Be open.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard for you to find people that are open because I know how you are.
Real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you do take that angle
from a mile.
I know. Me too.
And I'll play my position.
And that's why I don't say anything.
To where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah.
But every single time he proved me wrong. He proved me to be authentic as hell. Like more authentic than me when it came to being a fan, when it came to playing football.
Yeah.
First time I saw this dude play, I was like, this motherfucker is a real deal. Like he's legit.
Yeah, fool can ball.
He could ball. So I was like,
just like
the more I learned about him and the more stories, I went through and we had together, the more he became even more real.
So he inspired you. I see that.
Inspired me to
if that's what you're getting at, Travis, I get it. Okay, you know how to say no more.
Inspired me.
Say no
there
more.
You go. I'll take that.
No, but that's a cool story because you know what? I hear a lot of his friends. Well, we're all friends now, but say basically the same thing because this fool he's not afraid.
No.
of competition.
No.
And you know that's really
He
cool.
wanted it. I was like,
yeah, because
Bring it. Like I want that Goliath to step up. You know.
There's like a hunger for that, and that's cool because not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
Most people are basically pussies. Like,
right.
You know, that's cool, but it's not cool enough for.
Or have it for the wrong reasons.
And you know the greatest part of my competition
because they were hurt in some way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When we would participate in these church functions, or even school functions. I remember as a 5th grader beating a 6th grader in a throwing competition, and I just received these little medals for them that were in storage. And I showed Regina. I was just like, "Hey, check this out. Remember that story I was telling you about? Remember when I beat that 6th grader? This is it, you know." And I just remember my dad always laughing, like, because he knew I was good at stuff. And he I just remember him laughing, like shaking his head, like, "Oh man." But I remember this one time I was playing tennis. CIF 2nd round, and I got whooped by this Asian dude at Poly, and my dad was